Tim Pool was banned from Turning Point USA's AmericaFest, a major event, which many are interpreting as a form of de facto ban. Actually, there's no confirmed, credible public evidence that Turning Point USA, or TPUSA, has officially banned Tim Pool as a permanent member or figure in their network, at least as of now. But there are some news reports and commentary that suggest he was disinvited from a major event, which has fueled speculation. Here's a breakdown of what we know, the context, and why people are talking about it as a potential turning point. Who is Tim Pool, and why does he matter to TPUSA? Tim Pool is a well-known commentator, podcaster, and independent journalist. Over the years, he has aligned with many right-leaning topics and audiences, making him a potentially useful media figure for conservative youth groups and movements. Importantly, Pool was tied to Tenant Media, a media company co-founded by Lauren Chen and Liam Donovan. Tenant Media itself came under major scrutiny. In 2024, U.S. prosecutors charged 2 Russian media executives with funneling nearly $10 million into Tenant to influence content. According to reports, some of the content promoted through Tenant aligned with pro-Kremlin narratives or themes that favored Russian interests. Lauren Chen, one of the founders of Tenant, was also affiliated with TPUSA. AmericaFest disinvite. Tim Pool himself said he was uninvited from Turning Point USA's 2025 AmericaFest. Multiple sources, including Pool's own posts, corroborate that he was removed from the event lineup. According to one report, this happened after Pool criticized TPUSA and Charlie Kirk's security team. That suggests it was a calculated move by TPUSA's leadership, not a mistake or an accidental omission. No public ban announcement. Despite that, TPUSA has not released a formal statement saying they are permanently banning Pool or that they've severed all ties with him. There's no public policy change from TPUSA that specifically names Pool or prohibits him from future events. TPUSA's mission still remains heavily centered on conservative youth activism and campus organizing. To understand why people are calling this a turning point, we need to consider the broader context. Russian influence allegations. The Tenant Media scandal is central. Because of the alleged Russian funding, Pool and other Tenant-affiliated creators are under serious reputational risk. Media outlets, like Wired, analyzed Tenant Media's content, say that many videos pushed narratives consistent with Kremlin interests. Critics argue that TPUSA may want to distance itself from Pool as fallout from that scandal continues. It could be a public relations move. Internal friction or criticism. Pool reportedly criticized TPUSA's security and Charlie Kirk personally. That kind of critique from someone within or formerly aligned with your organization can be threatening, especially if TPUSA wants to maintain a brand image or control over messaging. Strategic rebranding. TPUSA has grown massively over the years. Campus chapters, media arm. With that growth, they may be more cautious about who they visibly associate with, particularly if that person is now part of a controversial media funding scandal. Removing Pool from a high-profile event like AmericaFest is a symbolic way to signal a boundary without necessarily burning all bridges. Charlie Kirk's death and leadership shift. Charlie Kirk, TPUSA's founder, was assassinated in September 2025. His death potentially destabilizes parts of the organization. With new leadership, Erika Kirk, there may be a reevaluation of partnerships and public-facing relationships. In that context, distancing from figures tied to scandal, even indirectly, could be part of a broader strategy to recalibrate TPUSA's image under the new leadership. It's not the same as a formal ban. Being disinvited from a single event doesn't necessarily mean TPUSA is permanently cutting ties. Pool's claims come mostly from his own announcements and stream. There's limited independent confirmation that TPUSA has made a formal statement. Some commentators argue TPUSA might just be doing damage control, but others might see the move as censorious, especially since Pool is a conservative voice. It's also possible TPUSA is trying to distance itself from the scandal around Tenant without fully disowning the people involved. Why this could be a turning point for TPUSA? If TPUSA is indeed distancing itself from Tim Pool, it's significant for several reasons. Signal to donors and allies. By disinviting Pool, TPUSA may be signaling to its major donors that it takes the Tenant/Russian funding allegations seriously. This could help reassure donors who might be nervous about reputational risk. Media strategy shift. TPUSA is not just a campus org. It's become a media powerhouse in conservative activism. A move away from controversial media figures could indicate a new, more careful media strategy, especially under new leadership. Youth movement reputation. TPUSA has built its brand on mobilizing youth and promoting conservative ideas in educational institutions. Aligning with a media influencer embroiled in a foreign influence scandal could undermine that brand. Disinviting Pool might be part of maintaining credibility. Organizational realignment post-Kirk. With Charlie Kirk's death, TPUSA may be reassessing many parts of its operation. This could mark a realignment of values, priorities, and partnerships as the organization transitions into its next era. Conservative media ecosystem impact. Pool is a high-profile figure. His distancing from TPUSA, or the perception of it, could have ripple effects in the broader conservative media ecosystem. Influencers, donors, and aligned organizations will all be watching. Pool has publicly confirmed that he was disinvited from AmericaFest. He has also made a video on Rumble titled, "Did Turning Point USA Commit Fraud?" reacting to other controversies tied to TPUSA. In that video, he suggests that the move against him could be part of TPUSA trying to hide or manage its own problems. However, he also places some of the blame on TPUSA's internal issues, hinting that his removal may have more to do with organizational politics than purely the Tenant scandal. Trust and transparency. This incident raises important questions about transparency. If TPUSA is disinviting voices like Pool, how open is it to internal criticism? What message does that send to its base? Foreign influence and media integrity. The allegations of Russian funding via Tenant Media put a spotlight on how foreign actors can try to influence American political discourse. TPUSA's response, or lack thereof, will probably be scrutinized in the context of broader media integrity debates. Youth political organizing. For an organization founded on youth activism, distancing from a youth media figure could reshape how TPUSA engages younger audiences in its messaging. Legacy of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's death is a turning point for TPUSA itself. How the organization handles relationships with controversial figures like Pool may reflect the direction of TPUSA's future legacy. There is some evidence that Tim Pool was disinvited from Turning Point USA's AmericaFest, a major event, which many are interpreting as a form of de facto ban. But no official TPUSA statement has confirmed a full, permanent ban or severance of ties. The timing and context are very telling. Pool's connection to Tenant Media, which is under fire for alleged Russian funding, and his criticism of TPUSA could both be driving factors. Whether this marks a real turning point for TPUSA depends on how the organization continues to navigate media partnerships, public image, and its role under new leadership following Charlie Kirk's death.